Here on Fox Sports Midwest. For Rockhurst and the Hawks, of course, it's Brandon McCann, their senior leader. He scores almost over 17 points a game.
Yeah, 6'1" senior from Bowling Green, Missouri. He's really a pure shooter, shooting over 41% from the three-point line. He's a catch-and-shoot guard, loves to come off screens. You've got to locate him if you're the Billikens on the defensive end. You don't want to let him get started early.
State of Missouri well represented on this Rockhurst team out of Kansas City. It is St. Louis University hosting Division II Rockhurst. It's part of the Jesuit basketball spotlight. The Billikens and Hawks lineups and the opening tip are coming up next. College hoops on Fox Sports Midwest. Cruz tonight facing this Rockhurst team, and it's 4 of the usual 5 starters for the Billikens. And Scott Highmark, what we're seeing here is we saw Grandy Glaze start the first 6 games of the season, but has not been a starter the last few.
Well, Jim Cruz is going to go small, but starting 5 seniors, and experience and leadership will be on the floor here early for the Billikens.
So Jake Barnett gets the start tonight, along with McCall, Jet, Evans, and Lowe. And of course, we spotlighted Brandon McCann. Bill O'Connor, 20th season at Rockhurst, 261 wins, the winningest coach in the history of this Division II program. And of course, Jim Cruz, who we just heard from moments ago, in his 2nd season on the Billikens bench as the head man. He was 1 year under Rick Majerus before Rick Majerus became ill last year and passed away. And we just passed the 1-year anniversary, in fact, December 1st, of the passing of the legendary basketball coach Rick Majerus. The opening tip now between the Billikens and Hawks underway, and we should point out for Rockhurst, as a Division II program, it's an exhibition for them, but it certainly counts for the Billikens, Scott.
They come back in a zone to start off the game. As expected, they're going to make the Billikens shoot it from outside.
So you go inside to Evans, and Dwayne Evans get the first 2.
Well, that's what you got to do against that zone. You can't fall in love with the jump shot. With the size and athleticism the Billikens have, they still should be able to get the ball in the paint.
And they were in that situation right away, and the Billikens jump out to the early lead. But it'll be man-to-man defense, of course, for the Billikens, and the defensive pressure that started with the Rick Majerus ball clubs continue here with Jim Cruz. We saw the ball go inside immediately on the Billikens possession.
Well, they've got good spacing. You see how they reverse the ball, and Dwayne Evans, the best Billiken really at catching against the zone, turning and scoring.
Rockhurst, the first turnover of the game. The Billikens have the basketball, and Joe Jet brings things up.
Token pressure that time by Rockhurst. They're going to try to slow this game down, reduce the number of possessions in the game, and again, they're going to try to make the Billikens shoot it over the top.
Go inside again to Evans. The pass wildly over to McCall, who handles it. Rob Lowe kicks it back out to Barnett. His 3 is good.
You know, you talked about Barnett getting the start. That's another reason Barnett inserted in the lineup. They expected Rockhurst to come out in that zone, so Jim Cruz counters with another score.
We know he certainly can hit the 3, can Jake Barnett. He's 6 of 22, making 7 of 23 on the season. The pull-up shot by Dwayne Evans, no good. And we've seen Jake Barnett, when he's on, he can really score in bunches. And the block out of bounds in a big way. Dwayne Evans making his presence felt here early on.
See a great recovery that time by Dwayne Evans coming over weak side and not fouling. But you talk about Barnett, before that last 3 that he made, he was 0 for 10 from the floor the last 3 games. So very important for his confidence.
Maybe just the fact that his coaches said you're getting the start tonight will help lift his confidence level. And there's the shot by McCann, and it's no good. We saw him in warm-ups, and he was lights out. He's got a really nice fluid shot, but certainly different in game situations sometimes. And his first shot is a miss. Here's Mike McCall, his first shot of the game off the rim. Rebound pulled down by Joshua Brennan, and here come the Hawks. They get the ball inside to Ellen Wander, and shot is no good. Mike McCall comes down with it ahead to Rob Lowe, running the floor, and he stuffs it home.
Well, that's another thing. You would expect them to be able to get out in transition, dominate the defensive glass, but that was such a beautiful play. The ball didn't hit the floor. Take a look at this. Shot goes up, long rebound, 2 dribbles, and a pass ahead to Rob Lowe, runs right down the center of the court. That's just how they teach it. Reward the big fella for running the floor.
Russell Burns with the foul as well, so Lowe with a chance to make the 3. He misses. Still a 7-0 lead to start the game for SLU. And for Rockhurst, this is their third Division I opponent this season, and you expect them to not have the jitters of being on this court, but certainly they understand being outsized and outmanned in a lot of areas, and they have been so far.
Well, they played UMKC and Loyola Chicago, who's coached by former Billiken assistant Porter Mosier, so you shouldn't be too intimidated by the size and athleticism of the Billikens.
Austin McGroom in the game, and he comes up with that loose ball, and Billikens set up in their half court. Getting around to Barnett inside the low. Back around the perimeter, McGroom has it stolen away by McMean. Falling down on the play and saving it is McGroom.
We got a player down hurt for Rockhurst, and
Joshua Brandon is the one who tripped and fell down hard, and I thought they were going to call a travel. They did not. Now he's clearly in some pain. And here comes Billy O'Connor, the head coach of Rockhurst. We mentioned in his 20th year as he goes to check on his player that's down on the court. 40th year for Bill O'Connor in basketball at any level. Just tripped.
well, yeah, he didn't see anything. It's just maybe his leg gave out. He's grabbing his thigh there. It just gave out. Looks like it's that left leg, and immediately he grabs his thigh. But yeah, you're right. He tripped over his feet.
Yep.
You just hope it's nothing serious like an ACL or something that's really going to put him out, but he is not moving.
So they'll continue to check on Joshua Brannon, the junior out of Houston, Texas. It's a transfer from community college in Texas. He started all 6 games, now 7 games for the Hawks of Rockhurst. As you mentioned, they played 2 Division I opponents, and though they don't count as far as their overall record at 3-3, but it's a part of a program called the Jesuit Basketball Spotlight, and it's Jesuit basketball programs around the country. The Association of Jesuit Colleges and Universities, AJCU, it's in its 5th year of this program now, and they put teams together like this so they can get a more national attention on the basketball programs in these Jesuit schools.
Well, I think it's a neat new thing that they're doing as Brandon gets carried off and not putting any pressure on that right leg at all. You just hope and pray that that young man's going to be okay, but he does not look like he's going to return to this game.
Certainly not.
You know, but you talk about this Rockhurst team, you know, they played the 2 Division I teams, and this is their 3rd Division I game this year. They play in one of the best Division II conferences in America, the Great Lakes Valley Conference. Southern Indiana, Bellarmine, and Drury are all ranked in the top 15. In fact, Bellarmine's number 3 and Drury's number 4 in all of Division II. So, you know, those are type of teams that can beat lower-level Division I teams. So it's good preparation for their conference season to come in and play here against the Billikens.
That's a great point. Dwayne Evans back out to McBroom, fakes and goes up. Little runner is good. 9-0 lead now for the Billikens to start the game.
That's such a great shot. I mean, every young man or woman that plays basketball that's a guard should learn that little floater shot in the lane. You know, McBroom's only 5'9". If he goes in traditional, he's going to get that shot blocked, but he hits that little floater.
Randy Glaze into the game, and he commits the foul. There's a timeout on the court. 15:53 to play here in the first half. Dwayne Evans, well, he's able to do it on the inside. He's able to do it on the defensive end as well. The Billikens open up a 9-point lead.
At U.S. Bank, we help first-time buyers, growing families, and empty nesters move from their home into one that's more fitting.
Wait, I'm sorry. Did he just say you might be moving?
We are.
We raised 3 kids here. It would be perfect for your family.
Which that means you guys are moving.
Oh, this would be a great first home for you.
Okay, let's talk about the
Can I
yard.
take it from here?
Sure.
U.S. Bank offers flexible terms and a great rate on a home mortgage for whatever stage of life you're in. Call to apply.
Or just come in. Okay.
All of us serving you.
Let's get started. Okay, I'm first.
U.S. Bank.
All right.
We could see that the weather was kind of getting bad. Here's the crawl space, the hole. That's what saved our life. But that night, immediately, the Red Cross was there. That volunteer, he didn't even know us. He just knew that there was a family with 2 younger kids who didn't have a place to go. That was the Red Cross. I knew that's what they stood for. They help people.
Danger, woohoo! Woodhouse, again!
Watch out premieres Monday, January 13th on FX.
All Billikens here in the first 4+ minutes of this game at Chaifetz Arena against Division II Rockhurst. What are we looking for tonight out of the Billikens, Scott?
You know, bench production, something you would expect here. Jim Cruz is going to play a lot of guys, so want to see if they get any production from Lancona, Becco, even Mike Crawford, John Manning. Can they get some production from the bench? And Jim Cruz wants to play inside out. He wants to establish their dominance in the paint, even against that zone, play inside out, and then once you start getting some shots down low, it should open up the perimeter for some open looks.
Well, the Billikens have had their way with Rockhurst so far, 9-0 the lead, and the defensive pressure out front on the ball immediately by Grandy Glaze, who committed that foul right before the stop and play and the timeout. And for Rockhurst, ball loose on the floor. Groom really hounding with his defensive pressure, and there's a loose ball taken by Rob Lowe. The outlet pass. And Mike McCall saves it back over to Dwayne Evans, a spin move, and he gets it to fall off balance and falling down.
I don't know how he made that shot. I thought surely he was going to travel, but with great dexterity and agility with his feet not to travel and make the shot.
Ball kicked back out to Fatkin, and there's another miss. Cold shooting so far for the Hawks of Rockhurst. Dwayne Evans drives inside and gets fouled. Mike McCall, we talked about it to start this telecast about what Mike McCall brings, and he does all the things to help you win games.
Yeah, this is not something that's going to show up in the stat sheet tomorrow, but tracks it down, the loose ball, going out of bounds, saves it to Dwayne Evans. And, you know, McCall came in with a big rep out of Chicago Foreman as a big-time scoring guard, but he's led this team in steals the last 2 years at over 2 steals a game. He's become a good floor leader for this team, distributor of the basketball, and he still is one of their more consistent outside shooters as well.
Remember, he and Jordair Jet kind of battling for the supremacy on the all-time steals chart. 6th is McCall, 7th is Jordair Jet coming in the game, but 134 for Jet, 135 for McCall. They're right next to each other.
Yeah, I would contend that Jet's probably better on the ball and harassing a ball handler, and McCall's more of a deflection, get in a passing lane, and get steals that way.
They're both excellent defenders, and of course, there's a foul on the play, and some free throws coming, it looks like, for Nardi Bogues. First time we mentioned his name. He's the nephew of Muggsy Bogues, is Nardi Bogues, and we all remember Muggsy Bogues, don't we?
How great was Muggsy Bogues?
He was awesome.
5'3", played 12 years in the NBA.
Yep.
Played for Wake Forest. Played for the Charlotte Hornets expansion team.
SLU fans, the next time you come to see the Billikens play, watch the game from one of our party room suites. Choose from one of the Billikens suites that accommodates 20 to 40 people, or ask about our SLU Party Deck, an all-inclusive suite that fans can purchase individual tickets to. For more information, call the Billikens ticket office, 314-977-4SLU. Rockhurst on the board after the free throw, and here's McBroom, stops and pops, misses. The rebound to Grandy Glaze. Working the ball around the perimeter, then inside to Dwayne Evans, and he just powers his way inside, misses the short shot. Coming away with the rebound is Adam Fatkin of the Hawks from Rockhurst. Passing around again, and this is Liam Duffy that go inside. It's knocked out of bounds. It'll stay with the Hawks of Rockhurst. Into the game now comes John Manning as the substitution continue. Rob Lowe takes a seat. Looks like Jordair Jett's going to come back in, and Mike McCall takes a seat. And the combination, we usually see Jett and McCall on the floor together a lot, but there's an opportunity to gather guys in.
Yeah, this is going to be an opportunity to mix and match, work on chemistry, different combinations. Lancona's going to get some minutes here early. And Jim Cruz is going to use this type of a game. Again, you want to be sharp, you want to play well, but you also want to experiment with some combinations.
And don't forget, there's 6 games in 13 days. Perhaps give some a little bit of more rest than you'd normally get them in the game.
No question. That's why you play this game, early December. Saturday they got to go on the road at Valparaiso. Bryce Greer always has a good team. Tough place to play, so a good tune-up game for that.
McBroom, the long 3. Too strong, fighting for the rebound and getting his glaze right back up. Short, gets his own rebound, and he gets it to fall.
Grandy Glaze has gotten the message from Jim Cruz. The last game in Cancun, he didn't start. He did not start against Wichita State, only played 10 minutes. And he's earning back the trust of the coaching staff to do what he does well, and that's offensive rebound, play defense.
Foul on the floor. We saw it in that Bowling Green game, too, the last game you and I called together back on the 23rd. And here's Grandy Glaze. We saw him take some shots from 15 feet. I know they don't want him to do that.
No, they're never going to run a play for Grandy Glaze. There's no play in the playbook that says, let's get Grandy Glaze a 15-foot jump shot. If he gets 10 shots a game, all 10 of them are probably going to come off of offensive rebound.
And it might be 5 different times he got the ball that he had to get the ball back.
He might miss his own shot.
That's right.
That's the Moses Malone deal, right?
That's right.
We're kind of dating ourselves with Moses Malone.
Look it up, kids.
But he's an energy guy. He's a high motor guy. He comes in, makes things happen, but he's just got to be solid. Doesn't have to be spectacular. Just be solid.
Beckett makes a second free throw and a 15-2 advantage. And the Billikens getting the ball inside to Lancona. Nice move off the glass and good.
A well-designed play. Nice step in. Good delivery by Barnett. And the right-hand finish for the left-handed Lancona. He's got a lot of upside. He had 12 points in 14 minutes against Bowling Green, starting to earn some more minutes.
Certainly is. And there's the shooter. And that's McCann, and he misses his second shot of the game. We talked about him being a 17-point-a-game guy, and that was an errant pass by Jordair Jett. Let's take a look at this pass.
Yeah, it's a great step in. Good lead pass, right on the money. See, he extended that right hand, and that ball hit Lancona's right hand. Watch where it goes. He puts that out there right on the money, in rhythm. Beautiful execution by Barnett Lancona.
And we talk about all the seniors on this team, but you're talking about John Manning, a junior. Then you're talking about Tanner Lancona, a freshman. And those are guys you're going to see this year and next year. Form of Manning, and then for several years to come for Lancona. Stripped away, but out of bounds by Jordair Jett, and it'll stay with the Hawks.
And that's why it's so important to get minutes for McBroom and Manning and Agbeko and Lancona, because Jim Cruz is trying to figure out what's my combination. When you get to January 1st and you go into A-10 play, you shorten that bench up, and you're trying to figure out what's my combination going to be. Am I going to play 9 guys? Am I going to play 11 guys? Or maybe even shorten it up even more. And so those guys are trying to compete for minutes in conference play right now. This is an audition for those guys.
Jake Barnett whistled for the foul. The inbounds. Baseline move and thrown out. Going away. And that defensive pressure for the Billikens is something that a team like Rockhurst is really never going to see again probably this season.
Yeah, no, they're so physical. They get up right up in you. They force unforced turnovers, and then they've been able to convert off of them.
Barnett all by himself, backdoor for the easy layup.
Well, that was great patience that time by John Manning. That short corner is going to be open against the zone, and good movement off the ball by the senior Jake Barnett.
This is Robinson, and it's stolen away by McBroom. McBroom end-to-end, loses it, goes out of bounds. It'll stay with the Billikens. 11:25 to go, 19-2. All slew the Billikens, having their way so far with the Hawks of Rockhurst. And a lot of contributions from a lot of different guys tonight for the Bills. Advantage right now for the Bills. They'll be inbounding the basketball as well. And it'll be Jordair Jett with the honors. Mentioned balanced scoring. Dwayne Evans with 6, Jake Barnett with 5, several others with a couple of points each, and his rebounding advantage 11-6 for the Billikens.
Well, we talked about the balance. 5 players averaging over 9 points per game. Kind of hard to scout a team like that.
You're right.
So
Who do you
much
shut down? Who do you shut down?
You think of Dwayne Evans really as the lead guy, but they really spread it around nicely.
Shot by Wingerson, no good. Not reestablishing himself with Cooper Beckett, so that's another turnover for the Hawks. Now 6 in the game for them. Jordair Jett gets the screen from Lantona. Drives hard, gets the ball stripped away, though, by Brandon McCann, and McCann pushes hard. The shot up and good. And that's Liam Duffy knocking down the 3. The first field goal for the Rockhurst Hawks tonight here at Chaifetz Arena.
Duffy shoots over 40% from 3, and 80% of his shots are from the three-point line, so that's one thing he does really well.
Jordair Jett, a little too strong. Trying to save it for the Hawks, and they do come away with it. James Robinson getting the ball to Wingerson. Right now in the hands of McCann. McCann steps back, closely guarded by McCall, drives to his right. They're going to call a foul on Mike McCall. You just mentioned the guys averaging 9 or more points per game, and that's the very definition of balanced scoring.
Yeah, hard to scout a team like that, and a really good minutes by Austin McBroom, 9 points per game. He's like instant offense coming off that bench, very offensive-minded.
Dwayne Evans, again, I believe 14th in the conference in scoring at 14.9, but certainly thought of as one of the best players in the conference. The miss there, and Rob Lowe comes away with it.
Well, Evans just dominated in parts of that second half against Wichita State. Only had
16 of his 18.
Yeah, only had 2 points in that first half, and really put that team on his back in that second half and almost got the win.
Randy Glaze with the rebound, but he's fouled on the putback attempt. He'll go to the line.
And garbage points, that's where he's going to get it. Big fella, if you want to go get it, you know where to go. Go to the offensive glass, and that's how he's going to earn trust. That's how he's going to earn minutes.
Dave Wingerson, sophomore from Gladstone, Missouri, 6'5", 230, coming down on Randy Glaze, and that was the foul.
I love the quote that Jim Crews says, this guy's all gas, no brakes.
Yeah.
He's just high energy all the time.
Misses a couple of free throws, though. Came in shooting 75%. That'll dip. Billikens shooting best percentage in the Atlantic 10 as far as free throws go coming into this one, 73.6%. There's a bucket by Dave Wingerson. And Dwayne Evans stops and gets fouled, almost scored, and he's frustrated that didn't go.
He gets so much done at 6'5", 230, going to the rim. Preseason, first team all-league.
Liam Duffy's the one who committed the foul, his first. Dwayne Evans' first free throw is good. Already missing Cardinals baseball. Fox Sports Midwest brings you the Cardinals hot stove report. Starting Wednesday, we're going to bring you an interview with Cards general manager John Mozeliak and tell you everything you need to know about the new shortstop, Johnny Peralta, and the outfielder, Peter Borges. Cardinals hot stove Wednesday at 7 o'clock on Fox Sports Midwest.
We're doing hot stove stuff already. Feels like the season just ended for you.
Tell me about it. It sure does. But you know what? Baseball season is every day of the year.
That's right. In St. Louis, that's for sure.
Dwayne Evans, free throw, and
Mike Crawford getting some early minutes.
Going to call a foul on him as well on Mike Crawford. Little forearm.
Well, we know Crawford can shoot it. He's a 6'4" freshman from Tipton, Indiana, scored over 2,100 points in high school. It's on the defensive end, though. If he could just be solid defensively, he has a chance to earn minutes and get in this rotation.
Well, these are the kind of games that he can learn. and get some quality minutes. Duffy drives. The fadeaway 17-footer is no good.
Off one leg.
It's kind of a low percentage shot.
I like it, but I don't think it's coached like it.
Maybe in a pickup game. There's Mike McCall. Misses. Low. No good. The rebound taken away by Cooper Beckett of the Hawks.
Wilkins doing a good job really getting after McCann, making him put it on the floor. He does not want to shoot off the dribble. He wants to shoot off the catch. See, that time he forces it in.
He did.
Gets called for the charge. Nice job by Dwayne Evans rotating over.
We talk about it so often now this year and the emphasis on the block and the charge and the slight tweaking of that rule, but a little slide step, but I think he established position fairly well.
Well, and last year they put the circle. They actually painted the circle on there. So in theory, if you're outside the circle and you're set, it's supposed to be a charge.
That's the Hawks coming with that loose ball and still looking, as you said, for McCann to kind of heat up. But so far, the Billikens have been able to shut him down nicely.
Mike McCall making it tough for him to even catch it.
Call a foul on McCall, and
they counted.
They're going to count that one.
NBA style.
Maybe a Muggsy Bogues continuation foul. Well, the Rockhurst Hawks have kind of found their legs. So has Brandon McCann. The hoop. He'll have a chance at a three-point play when we continue after this.
Super Bowl 48 is coming in Bud Light.
In the lead for St. Louis University over Rockhurst. Rockhurst over in Kansas City, the small Division II school, and the Hawks have a couple of very famous alum. You may not know that Mark Lamping, the former Cardinals president, now the president of the Jacksonville Jaguars, is an alumnus of Rockhurst, but I did not know that George Wendt, Norm from Cheers.
I did not know that either, but Norm, I mean, one of the great all-time characters in sitcom history. I'm sure Mark Lamping would be proud to be in company with George Wendt.
Yes. Somebody let Mark Lamping know that we just brought him up with one of the most famous sitcom actors of all time.
Mark Lamping also helped lead the building of the new stadium up in New York for the Jets and the Giants.
Yeah, he did a terrific job building the $1 billion stadium. Gets the job now with Shad Khan, who owns the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Illinois businessman. And by the way, the Billikens, after jumping out, remember they had a 19-2 lead. They haven't had a field goal in the last 11+ minutes now. 7 possessions without a field goal. They've got a couple of free throws, but that's been it. I'd like to see that turn around here.
Yeah, and in a game like this, the temptation is to get sloppy, particularly as you bring guys in off the bench. You've got different combinations that aren't used to playing against each other.
You don't see that very often. Rob Lowe had a shot block, but he stuck with it. And they're going to call a foul, I believe, on Agbeko as he went up for the rebound.
Well, I would contend that this Billiken team played its best basketball of the season last year when Rob Lowe played well down low. When he was scoring and productive down low, I think of the Butler game. I think of the game on Sunday against Wichita State. Early on, he got 2 or 3 buckets at the rim. And what that does for Jim Cruz is it opens up spacing for the rest of it. As much as you like to see Rob Lowe step out and shoot 3-pointers, and he's certainly capable of doing that, he's your best option to get some production from the post. So I'd love to see him spend more time in that lane, use his size, use that jump hook. He's skilled, but he's got to focus on being in the lane.
We think so many times about Rob Lowe with the 3-pointer. Remember, he started off the year 1 for 12 in 3-point range, and he's gotten a little bit better. He's 8 for his 30 attempts here in this season. There's Agbeko, the backdoor cut, and a block foul, and it's good.
Another good delivery by Jake Barnett to the freshman Agbeko. He's got a great-looking body for a freshman. A little screen and roll, slips the screen. You see 2 defenders go out on Barnett. Barnett, high basketball IQ, gives it to Agbeko. The lefty finishes right at the rim.
Native of Ghana. Misses the 3-point play. The Billikens back to a 23-11 lead. Substitutions continue for both squads. Billikens really using a deep bench tonight. There's McCann with the foul, and it's good as well. Jim Cruz wants to travel, but it's not going to be called.
Yeah, Barnett's going to have a tough time keeping up with McCann. He's pretty crafty with the ball. You know, more of a catch-and-shoot guy, but they're crowding him, so he's putting the ball on the floor.
Didn't take long for Jim Cruz to get Jordair Jet back out on the floor, and that's nothing, taking away nothing from Jake Barnett on the offensive side of things, but certainly when you're talking about the best defensive guard in the A-10, you want to get him out on the floor.
He's no Jordair Jet on the defensive end. And McCann, by the way, I found out before the game, played for the esteemed AAU program, the St. Louis Eagles. And so has a lot of St. Louis connections, played with some of the best high school kids in the St. Louis area with the Eagles when he was in high school. So he was excited to play here in St. Louis.
So hook shot by Lowe is no good. Of course, McCann from Bowling Green, Missouri, just about an hour and a half north of St. Louis. There's Evans with the rebound. Austin McBroom back to Evans. Evans' pass is knocked away. A lot of contact, but no call on Dwayne Evans. And there's Beco out of control and tripping over McCann and draws the foul. Didn't get the hoop on this last possession, but some good work by Rob Lowe here.
Well, you like how he's rooting it around down low, trying to make himself big, gets right in the post, little left-hand jump hook. That's fine. You'll take that all day long.
About the time we mentioned McCann hadn't gotten going yet, he's gotten going now. This is a couple of strong possessions in a row for him. He's up to 7 points.
There's a reason. When you average 17 a game at the college level, there's a reason.
And now 8 points, and almost in games like this, when you go up in competition, the best players can sometimes kind of carry teams because the lesser players don't have the opportunities. And there's a miss by McBroom on the three. Lancona with the rebound and back out to McBroom. A lot of movement. McBroom thought about going to Lowe, but it's cut off. They're going to call a foul on the entry pass, and that'll be against Russell Burns.
So what the Billikens are doing against this man is they're running a screen and roll on the strong side. On the weak side, Dwayne Evans that time steps in, tries to post hard. That's been their formula against this Rockhurst team.
So Dwayne Evans steps to the line. He's got a team-high 8. And that'll be 9. The St. Louis Classic returning to Steinberg Skating Rink at Forest Park on December 14th. A 35-foot screen will show the Blues taking on the Blue Jackets while fans skate and watch our Blues live shows live from the rink. It's the St. Louis Classic, Saturday, December 14th on Fox Sports Midwest. Evans' second free throw, short. Rebound controlled by McCann. Oh, it's out of bounds, and Billiken fans do not like that call.
Tell you what, tomorrow will look like it went right off McCann. And Jim Cruz says, "Are you kidding me?" I think everybody in the building, but the referee on the baseline, saw that one.
The drive here by Bogues. He kicks it back out, and the shot is good by Fatkin. Adam Fatkin from Winchester, Kentucky, the redshirt freshman.
Well, they're hanging in there. Rockhurst is not going away. It looked like it was going to be a lap for her early, but the Billikens have gotten a little bit of a scoring drought. That's been a bit of an issue here early in the season.
Too strong by Rob Lowe. He goes back, misses. The tap up by Lancona, no good. Lancona's fouled on the floor. The Billikens had a 19-2 lead, and now it's 24-18. So,
well, I love the effort, but you got to finish that. I mean, this is the type of team that you should be dominating down low, and you saw it against Wichita State on Sunday. They went on a 17-0 run.
Yes.
And when you get in a drought like that, you've got to get something going to the basket, and you've got to finish at the rim if you're Rob Lowe.
Also got to hit your free throws, and unable to do it, and it turns out to be a foul, and we're already in the double bonus as far as Rockhurst going to the line.
You know, you get into A-10 play, and you're playing against athletes like George Washington has, and UMass, and Dayton, and certainly VCU probably has the best athletes in the conference. And Jim Cruz knows that they're going to have to get some production down in the paint. By the way, how about the start from UMass and Dayton? UMass ranked 21st in the country, has wins against New Mexico, LSU, and Nebraska. And Dayton played terrific in Maui, 6-1. They've got wins over Gonzaga and Cal. And they're ranked 25th in the AP poll, so really helping the RPI of the A-10.
It's an 18-5 run now by Rockhurst, spurred on, obviously, by Brandon McCann, who's now up to 10 points in the game. Jordan Jett misses that layup, and so some easy shots being missed right now by the Billikens during this cold stretch, and it is a concern. Here's the three by Ellwanger, and he misses. Andrew Ellwanger. Billikens lid on the bucket, and there's a foul. Jordan Jett will go to the line. It's a bit of a head scratcher as to why this team has these cold stretches. And it's not necessarily a defensive letdown, but in a lot of ways you kind of think this team really feeds off its defensive energy on the offensive end.
You know, they do, and Jordan Jett is as good as anybody on this team, taking the ball to the hoop and finishing, and usually he's a very reliable finisher at the rim, and I like the aggression, but this is one of those games where shot selection is going to be real important, because it's going to look like, hey, I can take my man anytime I want. But Jim Crews wants them to work some clock, be patient, reverse the ball, don't take the first available shot, then you'll get an easy layup, or maybe if you make 2 or 3 passes.
There's McCann. McCann off glass and good.
Wow. What a finish against Jett. He took the contact from Jordan and finishes off the glass. McCann showing some creativity off the bounce. Now they're back in that zone. Tell you what, I like what Bill O'Connor's doing, mixing up their defenses.
Evans, strong, no foul call. The ball stripped away. And Wingerson came out with it. We've got Nardi Bogues, second on the team in assists, and talk so much about Brandon McCann, but Bogues handles the basketball very well. Wingerson shot, rebounded by the Billikens. Just one field goal in their last 14 possessions.
That's the definition of a foul right there.
Jordan Jett to McCall, the three. Back iron, rebound, slapped away. Lancona kicks it back out. Nice job by Tanner Lancona.
Yeah, he's been active on the offensive glass, really pursuing the basketball, which we like to see.
Jordan Jett drives right down the middle, lays it in. His first field goal of the night.
Well, that's what you got to do. You got to attack the zone. You got to attack the seams, make 2 guys play one. If they don't close that gap, you go right to the rim, just as Jordan did.
Jordan 1 for 4 from the floor. His first field goal, as I mentioned. Mike McCall 0 for 3 right now from the floor. You won't see that ever for the Pelicans. We haven't anyway. That'll stay with the Hawks. 2:41 to play here in the first half, and the Billikens try to withstand a drought. Not going their way, and you can see the frustration on the face of Rob Lowe and Jim Crews. Well, Rockhurst, despite being down 17 early, they've really come on here, Scott.
Well, the problem for the Billikens, they haven't not been able to contain the dribble. And McCann's been as good as anybody on their team in getting the ball to the rim, finding others, and candidly, he's hit some tough shots as well. But you've got to be able to contain a ball handler, and Brandon McCann right now is breaking down that Billiken defense.
Certainly is. A game-high 26 points on 3 of 6 shooting and 6 of 6 from the line. And that's how Bill O'Connor's team has made their way back into this game, trailing now by just 5 after trailing by 17 early in this game. And I mean early in this game, Scott. It looked like it was going to be a blowout. Maybe it's part of that is just, you know, human nature to let down a little bit if you're the Billikens, but they haven't been able to do it on the defensive end, let alone the offensive side of things. There's McCann again, and this time it goes off the side of the backboard, and the Billikens will have it. The missed shot again, and now 0 for 4 is Mike McCall from the floor.
See, I don't like that shot off one pass. You don't make the defense work. You don't reverse the basketball. You're going to get an open shot, but you're better off working the shot clock for 10, 15 seconds before you get a contested jump shot.
Shoot from the outside. That's what Rockhurst wants you to do.
Absolutely. They want you to shoot it quick. They want you to be impatient, and they want you to shoot contested shots, and the Billikens are playing right into it.
There's a turnover, and ahead quickly to McCall, and McCall is fouled. He'll go to the line. Just not getting in that rhythm offensively like you'd like to see him, like they were doing in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, and they should, early on they were getting out in transition, getting some things going at the basket, but you got to get a defensive stop, you got to get a rebound, or you got to get a turnover, and then get out, fill the lanes, and try to get out in transition.
Turnovers right now, 7-7. It's a lot of turnovers for the Billikens in a half of basketball, and points off the turnovers. Billikens now 11 points off the turnovers. Rockhurst with 8.
Well, the Billikens, that's one of their best stats. They only commit 11 turnovers and they force 15, so they're +4 in that department. That's always been one of the hallmarks of Rick Majerus era and certainly the Jim Cruz era.
B.J. Dunbar running the point right now for the Hawks of Rockhurst. Brandon McCann now spinning around Jake Barnett, driving hard. The scoop shot, no good. Barnett comes down with the rebound. A little better defense there. I'd like to see that of Jake.
Well, McCann's going to hunt shots. He's going to be aggressive, and all you can do is contest him. And if he makes tough shots, he makes tough shots. But he's not going to be able to do it for 40 minutes. There's that short corner.
Back out to McBroom, over to Rob Lowe in the corner for the three. Way too strong. Fought for, and Dwayne Evans will come away with it. Batted out there by Randy Glaze.
I'll tell you what, Billikens fortunate. They've got 12 offensive rebounds. I mean, that's keeping them in the game.
That was an unforced error, and neither team particularly shooting the ball well. The Billikens 31%. Rockhurst shooting just 26%, but that's where those offensive rebounds have come back. The Billikens have had many, many second chance opportunities. Timeout on the court right now, 29-22, and really it's really one of those things where you scratch your head. We talked about it before. This Billiken team has been great at their own offensive spurts, but we've also seen them have those droughts, and it's really cost them in some of these big games, and it's costing them again tonight.
Yeah, it cost them Sunday. They had that big drought, 18-0 against Wichita State, and really it's their shot selection gets poor during those droughts. They get quick, they get tentative, they take poor contested shots instead of working the clock, reversing the basketball. When they've done that tonight, they're getting great shots. Those shots are going to go down, but you've got to be patient, not take the first available shot. I'm sure that's what Jim Cruz is talking to his team about right now.
It's also as we talked about, the positive of a game like this is you assume you're going to win this game, and you're going to be able to have a lot of different combinations. You can prepare yourself for some tougher games. Certainly they'll be coming up on Saturday, one at Valparaiso, but at the same time, maybe just not the continuity that you want out of some of these combinations.
Yeah, it's hard to get your team up for a game like this if you're the Billikens. As much as you can say, hey, this team's played 2 Division I teams, they're going to come ready to play, they're going to be excited. But at the end of the day, the guys on the floor got to be excited. And they got to come out and say, hey, I've only so many opportunities to play in college, and I'm going to play every night.
McBroom knocks it away, and a foul there with 20.3 seconds left. And it's like Jake Barnett will be going to the line for 2 as they're in the double bonus as well. And, they may be a product of their own success. It's funny to say you get out to a 19-2 lead, but it really kind of worked against the Billikens in some ways.
Yeah, like you said, it's human nature. You relax. It's hard to have that killer instinct, and you go to the bench and you get different combinations, different energy coming in. And
Jake Barnett, 71% free throw shooter coming in, and he increases that percentage hitting the first.
I know he would like to have one of those free throws back against Wichita State.
Yes.
Down 2, missed the first, made the second. Then from there it was they were having to foul and catch up the rest of the game.
Rob Lowe gets the rebound, and Dwayne Evans just reestablished himself on the right side of the half-court line now with under 10 seconds to go in the first half. Barnett, the 3, and it's good. Time running out. The shot off the glass, no good by Nardi Bogues. And well, that's the way to finish it. A 33-22 lead, 11 points for the Billikens at halftime. Back with halftime festivities next on